Welcome back, readers. Today we have another book review video for you. It's been a couple weeks, so I've got a few extra books than normal. So let's just get started on some of the single items as opposed to some of the series that I've been reading. So the first one we have is Killer Weekend by Ridley Pearson. This is the third book in the Walt Fleming series. He's a small town sheriff, kind of dealing with, issues going on in his town. Ridley Pearson is also a middle grade author, as well as he writes for adults, which this is obviously one of them. It's a mystery, suspense, and that sort of thing. I would give this book and the series a 7 out of 10. The first book in the series, I believe, is Killer View. So I would say go check them out if you like the mystery, suspense, and intrigue, that sort of series. So the next book I read is, it's like super old looking, and it's called, it's hard for you to see, it's called Sergei Korolev, The Apprenticeship of a Space Pioneer, and it's by Russian author Yaroslav Galovanov. Let me get a little closer, see if I can get a look at it. So this book was originally written, I want to say like in the 50s. It was translated, it was first published in 1973. And the English translation, which I have here, was in 75. So it's a bit older, and it's actually one you can't find new. I actually had to get the copy of this off eBay. And I spent a little more on it than I guess you would like a normally new book. But it was actually worth it. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. And when I originally got it, I kind of thought it would be about, so he's the father of the Russian space program, Sergei Korolev, which the book is about, and I thought it would kind of like follow his career in that, but it's actually prior to that, kind of him like going to university and college and kind of like leading up into him being part of the space program. So it was really interesting reading about him and that part of his life. This particular author wrote another book about Yuri Gagarin, which was the first person in space, and I really would like to get a hold of that, but the only copy I can find on eBay is like $200, and that's a bit much for a book, but I would love to read that as well. If I can ever find a copy for a little bit less than that, I would totally check it out. If you are able to get your hands on a copy of this, or if it's at your library, I would 100% say check it out. So I started the second Doom set of books. So this is like a different series than the other ones I read. It's based on a different set of video games, so like the Doom 3 video games. This one's called Worlds on Fire, and it has more of a feel, if you ever saw the movie Doom, it has a little bit more of that kind of feel to it, like it's up on a space station on Mars, and that kind of thing, with scientists and things like that. So I enjoyed the story itself. It was like a little bit slow going into it, and I felt like the action was like the last fifth of the book, so it was a little bit slow getting into that, but overall it was well written. I enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to reading the second book in the series. There's only 2 of them, so we'll have to see kind of what happens, because it follows the same characters, and I'm looking forward to that. So if you're able to get a hold of these books, I'd say go ahead and check it out. Alright, so then I started another reread. I've read them before, like back in high school. This is the Mars Diaries by Sigmund Bauer. They're mid-grade books. This one's the first one is Oxygen Level 0, and the second one is Alien Pursuit. So it basically follows, I believe you pronounce his name Tice. It's Tyce. He's a 14-year-old boy and the first child ever born on Mars, and like the only child on Mars. And it kind of follows his adventures on Mars. It's also Christian fiction, so you get kind of those kind of themes and stuff like that with God and faith throughout the series. And they're entertaining, and if you have kids in elementary school, middle school, I'd say go ahead and check them out. So I have read some more Melody Carlson. We read the Carter House Girls series, and now we have the On the Runway series. So I've read 4 of those. So we have those 4, the first 4 books in the series. They are On the Runway. Oh, nope, that's the name of the series, On the Runway. We have Premiere, Catwalk, Rendezvous, and Spotlight. So I'm sort of glad that I read the Carter House girls books first, because these actually kind of are set in the same world, and you have some of the characters from that series in this series. And I feel like it wouldn't necessarily have ruined the story, but you kind of would have had certain parts of the plot ruined had you read them in this book series first. So I think overall I do like the Carter House girls a little bit more than these ones so far. These ones basically follow sisters as they are creating kind of a reality fashion show with the 2 of them. And so, whereas the other one had the girls were becoming models and stuff like that. So, that's the only thing is, like, I'm not, like, huge in the whole, like fashion and reality TV, mean girl kind of things, and a lot of those are in this themes. And, of course, like the other books, it's Christian YA fiction, so if you have teenagers, I'd say maybe give that a check. So I finished the Remnants series, so we have the last 2 books. We have Survival and Begin Again. So we finally get the conclusion to the Remnants series. They're back on Earth and trying to survive. So I would say overall, if you have middle grade kids, elementary, middle school, I'd say maybe check them out. I'd give the series as a whole maybe a 7 out of 10, and probably not for you if you're already an adult, but like I said, if you've got kids, they are a fun series to get into for them. So I also read some Gossip Girl. I love Gossip Girl when I was a teenager, the show. I've read the books, and I have one of the books, Don't You Forget About Me. This was actually the last one in the main Gossip Girl series. They're all going off to college. And then I also read one of the books in the It Girl series, which is a spin-off of Gossip Girl that follows Jenny Humphrey as she goes to boarding school. So these are a bit dated just because there's lots of like pop culture and all of that going on, and they're from like the early to mid 2000s. But they're fun, quick little reads, and if you have girls in high school, they might find them interesting. Like I said, they're super quick reads. You can read like one of them in a day. And Cecily von Ziegesar is the author. And this one's Gossip Girl and It Girl. I'd say go ahead and check them out if you've got teens who like to read or might like to get into reading. These are, like I said, easy reads and something that they can do pretty quickly. So I also read some of the Clique series, which is a lot like Gossip Girl, just more for middle school. So whereas these girls in Gossip Girl are in high school, these ones are in middle school. So we have These Boots Are Made for Stalking, and then the prequel book, Charmed and Dangerous, where it kind of like is how they all kind of met in the first place and became friends. So this, like I said, is actually a lot like Gossip Girl in the sense that, you got like Mean Girls and, high school and cliques and all of that going on, but for middle schoolers. And if you have girls in middle school, they might want to check them out. They're fun reads. I'm almost finished with them. There's a couple more in the series. I'd say I'd give it like a 7 out of 10, and if you got middle schoolers, they should check it out. And finally, we have some more Tami Hoag. So we'll start with this one. This is Kill the Messenger. This is a standalone book that follows a teenage bike messenger as he is basically being hunted by some killers who think he has information due to a murder. And basically, the cops are trying to find him, and it's mystery, suspense. No romance in this one, like some of her other books. It wasn't necessarily my favorite. I give it maybe a 6 out of 10 and say if you like Tami Hoag, then give it a read. But if you're just getting into her, maybe give some of her other books a chance first. And the cover came off of it, so I don't know. Have to see if I can get that back on. And then the other ones I read are actually part of a series. So we have this one where it's 2 novellas. The first one that's in it, Tempestuous, isn't part of the series. It's a standalone romance story. And then there's Restless Heart, which is the first in a series of hers. It follows a family in Louisiana Bayou, basically. So there's that one, and the other 2 I read in the series. So we have Lucky's Lady and Cry Wolf, which this is the first one, and this is the second one. So this one follows the same family, whereas this one is in the same town, but it's got different characters. I think this one is actually one of my favorites of hers, which it was previously like Night Sins, but I really liked this book. It was it's got romance, it's got suspense, mystery, and it's all set in the Cajun Bayou, so you got some, you're reading it with that accent going on in your head, which is telling. But so I'd say go ahead and check these out. If you can get your hands on this one, start here. It's a great read. Yeah, so I think that's it for this video. Let me know your thoughts, what books you're interested in reading. If you have any recommendations on stuff I should check out, let me know. And until next time, let's get reading.